and welcome to a special 10th anniversary edition of Evening Magazine.
Tonight, it's something different. This is a show about our show. We're going to look back at 10 years of favorite moments, maybe some unfavorite moments, some surprising facts about Jan.
And some shocking things about Richard.
Join us now as we celebrate 10 years on the air.
A woman, I think, who has an unusual job.
We're going to meet someone.
I don't do interviews. Oh, TV. Come on in.
Hey, you want to buy a pot holder?
Listen, I enjoy this.
Well, I did too.
Whatever this is.
So this is...
Whatever this show is going to be.
the ultimate.
Go for it. Have a good one.
All right!
Park this thing here?
Evening Magazine.
10 years ago, television history was made when Evening Magazine first went into the field and on the air. The magazine format was born. This unique show would be shot entirely on location in a style both entertaining and informative. Minicam technology was brand new. Practically every time an evening crew went on location, it would be a first. A program like this was unheard of, and the very first show looked as fuzzy as the concept.
Good evening. I'm Jan Yanahiro, and this is Eric Smith and Steve Fox.
Welcome to Evening. Since this is our first show, we'd like to tell you a little bit about Evening.
Evening was first known as the MTWTF show and was hosted by Steve Fox, Jan Yanahiro, and Eric Smith. Eric lasted about 13 weeks and returned to Detroit to deliver the weather. Initial reactions to the groundbreaking show were, well, mixed.
I've been asked to say something nice about KPIX's new evening series, and I shall. It can only get better.
Evening is a roller coaster of a show, searing ups and stomach-wrenching downs.
But overall, the show displayed its promise.
Tonight on Evening...
That's not true, Jan. None of that is true.
Steve Fox enjoyed 3 years on Evening Magazine and left to pursue greener network pastures in New York with Good Morning America. But those early days left him with fond memories.
I remember right before I left Evening, Jan and I tried several times, I mean, I don't know, half a dozen times to look at the first show, to just watch it. And it's too painful. And the program was awful, which I guess is really a testimonial to how bad everything else on television was then at 7:30 at night, because we were able to stay alive while we learned how to do that show and get better.
The success of the show was marked by the rush of evening-inspired programs, from Real People to That's Incredible. Evening Magazine at KPIX became the flagship station for the syndicated version of the show PM Magazine, seen across the country. A former flight attendant and public affairs radio reporter, Jan Yanahiro, would help form the show's identity.
There was one time in the beginning of the show, they said, Evening Magazine, oh, I should dig that up. There's a pamphlet that they gave us in the very first week of the show, what Evening Magazine was not to be, but they never said anything as to what Evening was to be. Evening was not news, they said. Evening was not a game show, was not a Hollywood sitcom, was not even, quote, a Hollywood kind of. They didn't want that look, a Hollywood slick look.
In 1979, KCBS reporter and aspiring astronaut Richard Hart joined Evening Magazine and quickly gained a reputation for going anywhere and doing anything. But there's more to him than that.
I am a much goofier guy than I'm allowed to be on the air. I would be much sillier if I were given a free rein. Fortunately, maybe, the producers are always pulling me back a little bit.
He's so kind. This man is so kind.
As a team, Jan and Richard have learned some things about one another that you don't see on camera.
You come home, you turn on the television set, and you watch her. 9 times out of 10, as she's on that camera talking to you, she is wearing 2 layers of thermal underwear. Thermal underwear with lace. Show them. No, can you just, are you wearing them now?
Yes, but I'm not going to.
For some of the things we do, I get scared going into it. Well, at least I didn't have to fall far.
But, you know, I've always said this, and, you know, I think that we have the best jobs in the world. You know, where we can live in the Bay Area, we can travel, we can meet great people, we can meet celebrities. I'm as excited to meet a celebrity as anybody else. And we can meet the everyday people who make up our neighborhoods. I mean, we've got the blend of everything. I mean, I really think that we have the best jobs. And I'm always flattered when people come up to us and tell us that they want our jobs.
But they can't have them.
Right.
Outside one. All right, here we go. Rehearsing. Action.
Hollywood called me. I didn't call Hollywood. I was minding my own business, being a bodyguard.
Is there a serious side to Carol Doda?
I'd rather laugh. Why not laugh, huh?
Well, Roger Moore is beneath all of it. What Roger Moore is like beneath all of that is something else.
In terms of celebrities, my favorite celebrity of all time, men, in the male category, winning the male category, Kenny Rogers. I mean, first, I should say, for years I said Wayne Newton was my absolute favorite celebrity of all time. Then I interviewed Kenny Rogers earlier this year. He was just so down to earth and funny and real. And there were no questions that we couldn't ask him. You're on your 4th marriage. Right. You've messed up 3. And you've admitted that it was your fault.
I didn't say I messed up, though. I said
I
those
read that
3.
in one of these articles.
I said that.
Yes, in one of these articles.
I messed up 2 of them. No, actually, I probably messed up all 3 of them.
Jan does good interviews because she is able to ask people very, very personal questions about their personal hygiene habits even, without offending them. She can ask you a question without offending you.
Talk about conditioning.
If I asked that, I would probably end the interview right there.
What are his vices?
Let's get into it.
We both
On camera, I will ask anything. I mean, I always say, I hide behind the veil that I get paid to ask. And I've asked people how much money they make, and are they planning to get married, and are they in fact going with this person that we read about? And I mean, I will ask that. This is Acapulco. During the winter season, this is the home for the beautiful people. There is one person that I thought I was really going to enjoy meeting, and I was just devastated when I got there to meet him. Harold Robbins, the author. Your book's about sex, money, women, men, power, fame. Is that a reflection of your lifestyle?
Mostly, yes, because I'm an erotic. And all I have to do is turn on and see very, very beautiful girls. And then I can't think of anything else except sex, power, money, and beautiful people.
I thought that he was worse than the worst male character in one of his books. Worse than any male chauvinist character he could ever possibly write about in his books. He was worse than that. Why do you think that you have this way of seeing the world?
I have a very sick mind. That distorts my vision. I see everything almost upside down and naked.
Okay, stand by, fellas, please. And roll cameras. Action. You know who is the nicest guy in the world, the nicest interview, the most cooperative person, the most generous, is Tom Selleck.
Hi, guys.
Tom Selleck is an example of a guy who is even nicer off camera than his persona on television or on the movie screen. Luciano Pavarotti is a little cherub out there on stage. He is so darling. Ladies love him. He is such a cute guy, but he is a jerk.
And they like this kind of personality of a man of 45.
Luciano Pavarotti refused to use the chair we wanted him to sit in. He refused to wear the microphone we wanted him, and every once in a while when I'd ask him a question, he'd say, "I don't like that question, ask me another question." Just like that. That was it. And he, he would say something like, "That is a stupid question." Okay, sorry, Luke. This is the home of the whale, Guerrero Negro, one of the lagoons in Baja. The favorite place I've ever been has been that lagoon in Mexico where we floated around with the whales. The lagoon is about the size of the South Bay, south of the Dumbarton Bridge, and there were something like 200 or 300 whales in that little bit of water, and you're floating out there in a Zodiac raft, knowing that these things are around you and occasionally bump your raft, and it's a feeling of scariness and wonderment at the same time. That has to be the best moment. The things I've done on the show, stock car races and ultralights and skydiving and all that stuff, and riding a whale, it isn't as though I always go to the guys who do the show and say, "Hey, I'd like to do this." They say, "Well, we really can't throw Jen in there. Let's get Rick." Well, I'll be.
It's all showbiz. Hey, wait a minute. There was a mark.
I probably shouldn't say this, but for some of the things we do, I get scared going into it. Right up, the worst time for me is the day before I know I'm going to do something like that. I get anxiety-ridden. When I was supposed to do a story about ultralights, naturally I had to fly one. But you can't just get into one and fly one for the camera. You have to learn a little bit about it. So I had instruction the day before. This is something we didn't tell you in the story. I gave it full throttle the very first time, and I'm heading down this golf course, and I must have gone up a little hill or something, and all of a sudden the plane popped up off the ground about 5 feet. I don't know how to fly this thing. I literally came that close from a telephone pole. I was up at the top of a telephone pole, and as I was going at the pole, I just narrowly missed it, but as I was going at the pole, I knew I was going to die. That's the one time in my life I was convinced I was going to die. And your whole life doesn't pass in front of you. My whole social life passed in front of my eyes, though.
And the challenge is always there. Okay, how can I make it better? I admit it. I mean, there are days I go back and coming home after an interview, I said, well, why didn't I ask that question? Or why didn't it go so well? And I get depressed. I get a little down and I say, well, I could have done it better this way.
I really won't appreciate or enjoy what I'm doing for this job until I'm not doing it anymore. And then I'll probably regret not having enjoyed it more while I was doing it.
Then switch that. Oh, I'm sorry.
They were there to see the birth, and I knew that, and I had already decided that I was going to have this baby on TV, and so we went ahead and she was born on TV.
I'm crying, that's not.
Then you were scared of Santa.
We've done thousands of stories in Evening Magazine, some really great stories, some memorable ones, on every aspect of life, even the beginning of life. I'll never forget a very pregnant mom by the name of Donna Langley who agreed to share the birth of her daughter with us and with thousands, even millions of people on the air. And she was so terrific. We couldn't have picked a better pregnant mom to have a baby on the air than Donna.
Give it your all now. Come on. Come on. Don't push. Don't push. Go slide. There you go.
Wonderful controls. I really didn't notice the camera crew being there up until I had to go into the room and the doctor broke my water. And it's like, okay, you have to get up on the bed and you have to lift your gown and we're going to do this. And at that point I'm thinking, oh my, there are 15 people in here, what's going on? But after that, it's like they were there to see the birth. And I knew that, and I had already decided that I was going to have this baby on TV because I'd had an easy time, my first child. And so we went ahead and she was born on TV.
This is Shannon Leanne.
How old is she?
Oh, 5 minutes.
How long? 5 months. Michael Williams, he's my husband. I am excited. It's going to be just like we first met, all over again. And I can't wait.
There's something about watching other people be happy that makes you happy. There's something about that sharing with them and either crying or laughing with that other person that just makes you feel better. And one of our favorite moments was watching the happiness and the tears as sailors come home to port. And just to see these people and have them let us share in their joy makes us feel better.
Kiss me once and kiss me twice and kiss me again. It's been a long, long time.
Well, it looks like we're ready to run now. The water's ready for us and we're ready for the water.
First of all, I should tell you that we all went up to interview Lee Taylor and to see him set a record on water. It's the fastest man on water, with great expectations, with optimism. We put the story on the air. We put the story of one man's quest for a record and then tragedy. I really believe, after meeting Lee and spending that day with him before he took that run, that he would have wanted the story to be told.
I'm waiting, but the engine's not. It's cooking like hell.
Now he's slowing down.
On Evening Magazine, we've seen a life begin, a birth. We've seen life end. We've seen everything that happens to people in between. It's not scripted. We're not doing a movie and we don't say, all right, here's what we're going to do, and then act it out. We just let the cameras roll and real stuff happens. And sometimes when that real stuff happens, it's not what we would have liked to happen or wanted to happen, but that's real life. And for me, that's the greatest thing that you can share with other human beings, is real lives.
You know, it's like, today we're gonna go find the best corn dogs in the East Bay. Okay, Rich, talk to you later, man.
You know, these days we don't pretend to be 60 Minutes, and we don't pretend to be 2020, and we don't pretend to be documentary. I mean, our show is not that. We are an informative show that happens to be entertaining, or an entertainingly informative show. Okay, a show full of features. Okay, a fluff show. But if we can give people another perspective on their neighbors, maybe a good perspective, or something that can make them laugh, or something that cannot be so heavy, and that there are some funny things in the world or in their neighborhood, why not? I mean, I don't feel like I have to apologize for us being a light show or an entertainment show or a feature show.
You got Richard Hart and John Yanehiro. I mean, these people can't be stopped. And it's not like I really never watched the show, because that time of night, it's either, would you really rather look at Richard Hart or Vanna White, you know?
So do you folks want to say hello to Evening Magazine before we, Evening Magazine. They've been on the air 10 years now. Who knew there was that many restaurants, you know? Unbelievable.
They just can't be stopped. It's an amazing show, though. If you watch it, you know, I just don't need, they basically take you to places that you don't want to go and people you don't want to hear about. You know, it's like, today we're gonna go find the best corn dogs in the East Bay. Okay, Rich, talk to you later, man.
In honor of your 10th anniversary, Jen and Richard, I thought we'd go somewhere you'd never have been before, the beautiful Palace of Fine Arts. You've been here thousands of times. How about that pizza place on Lombard? A million times. Volleyball on weekends over here? You've seen it, you've done it, you've talked about it. It's been 10 years, you two. I think it's time for in-depth reporting on Evening Magazine. How about a nice story on celebrity bathwater of the stars? Maybe monkey lingerie. You've done those too. I can't help you. Good luck. It's only the beginning.
Have we ever been to the Palace of Fine Arts?
Once, twice maybe.
Maybe. This is just the beginning, because tonight we kick off an entire month of celebration in honor of our 10th anniversary.
This week's celebrities, past, present, and future.
We will invite you aboard our time machine to take a look at the fads, fashions, and trends of the past 10 years.
And we'll be saluting various towns and communities in the Bay Area, perhaps even yours.
And Don Blue will salute the entire Bay Area in a brand new music video.
And at the end of the month, we'll tell you how you can win a free trip to Hawaii.
Thanks for joining us tonight and for the past 10 years.
Have a great evening. See you tomorrow night. Good night.